What's good? It's Casper. Today's video, we're looking at the 10th and final episode of season 2 of Tulsa King. The 10th episode, season 2 of Tulsa King is called Reconstruction. It's 35 minutes, directed by Craig Zisk. We got Stallone writing in this episode, and we also have Terrence writing for this episode. First things first, I just want to say thanks for all the people who are tuning in, especially episode by episode of me recapping and giving you my personal thoughts of each episode. Shout out to you guys for real. Thanks for just tuning in general, taking time of your day to click on these videos and see what this dude is about. With a lot going on, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know what's gonna go on. In this episode, we're seeing the events of what happened after all the bosses dealt with me. And we're seeing how a lot of these bosses are now trying to basically get a reward for that happening. A lot of people are feeling good. Very insane that we actually see Thresher and Stallone have a one-on-one moment. This is where the adventure and everything starts to just skyrocket, start your engines type of thing. Once killing Ming, a lot of questions were up in the air, like how are these bosses gonna proceed with that happening? What's gonna be the main focus? What's gonna be the main problem now? The detail in the lines just showed how much power a mobster gangster has, and then also with the lines you see how much power just a rich billionaire person has, you know, just living off money based. Seeing the interaction between Thresher and Manfredi to see what happened was very smooth and very easy, and it shocked me because Manfredi was not playing around. And watching this episode, guys, watch the lines for Manfredi talking to Thresher, because I thought it was just straightforward. What are you going to negotiate about? Manfredi is the one doing all these gangster moves, and we just have Thresher, just someone who literally was raised in having luxury and having money on his side. Thresher is now gone. Thresher basically agrees to give Manfredi all his land of tree, has acres for days, so that's very interesting. Thresher is now gone from this episode. Who knows what's gonna happen with him? Shout out to the actor who played Thresher, Neil McDonough. Good pickup in this season. And talking about good pickups, talk about Frank Grillo. I learned a lot more about Frank Grillo in this season, knowing that he's one of the big name actors along with Neil. They brought two good all-star caliber actors to make this Tulsa King season 2 feel more full and more impactful, especially with good versus evil. But shout out to Neil, great job putting that Thresher vibe. Let's see what he ends up getting involved with after this. But with Neil and Frank, cool introduction to both for their acting. I might have here and there seen them act somewhere else, but the fact that I seen them in here, this is going to be my standout for both of them. Especially for Frank, seeing him in this Tulsa King show, I really thought he brought a really good acting performance, very strong, and he's one of those characters in this TV show where you just didn't know where it's going to end up taking off. With so much stuff happening and so much attention on everyone else, he's one of those characters that you have to keep an eye for. Every time they brought him up in this Tulsa King season, I thought they did a good job with his presence and his stature of being that top boss as well on his side, especially from Kansas City. Good acting overall from him. I really like that they brought him here, and hopefully they can bring him back for the next season. With the 10th episode and what he's involved with in this one, I thought it was very interesting, and you could see a lot from his character, who he is in front of, who he's face to face with, especially with Manfredi. Turn of events like crazy. Bill ends up taking out Chicky out of nowhere. Within this episode, you see how Chicky wants to come up and become a boss, but he needs help from Bill. He also needs help from Manfredi to come to New York so he can have that reign of being a boss. Really like the fact that Frank was the dude that took out Chicky. There's a lot of moments in this season where you think a lot of people are gonna get whacked or killed, but the fact that we saw out of nowhere Chicky get killed, bullet through his head, very good placement. Everybody wanted his character out. He was a burn character before Chicky's character getting taken out. He does a lot of questionable moves where you can see how desperate he is. And also Manfredi confronting him, saying like, you're the dude that took out your own dad and you really want to team up and stuff. That's very insane. So very good lines between Manfredi and Chicky when they actually had their screen time together. And you can see that Stallone was a part of those writing moments where his character had to take over, especially in a lot of those negotiating or those heated arguments or those heated conversations that Manfredi was placed in. I thought he was holding it down. Good lines and good presentation presentation, all very direct and very strong. And also when Manfredi's talking to his team, Chicky is gone. Now we have a 50-50 agreement with Bill and Manfredi after that moment happened. And also to see the fact that Bill does a lot of stuff. This is like added stuff right here. So the added things that is going through my mind is the fact that Bill is one of those bosses that does a lot of stuff illegally. Manfredi in this whole season is basically trying to do things the right way. He gets confronted by a lot of FBI people in this season, but there's a lot of twists and turns that I feel like we still haven't picked up yet that's going to be brought up for the next season. And they're flying over our heads, like seeing that microphone, that bug stuck under Bill's desk. Like what's going to go on? Is this the preparation for next season? Especially the fact that Manfredi is now captured by the FBI. The FBI now guys got to keep that on the low, because if all the bosses find out that Manfredi is arrested, huge warning trigger for all these other bosses. So let's see how the FBI uses Manfredi, because it looks like it might be a secret role that Manfredi might have to deal with, but that's preparation for the next season. That's pretty insane. But before that crazy event happens, very cool to see that we got Mitch very happy with that car dealership. In this episode, we're seeing him build that car dealership up a little bit more. I feel like in this season, whenever he had his moments, he had really good moments. In this season, I wish they used him a little bit more. His acting is phenomenal. So hopefully in the next season, we can see Mitch have more of a main character role rather than the here and there moments we have with him. Played by Garrett Hedlund, underrated actor, underrated character in this season, I will have to say. But he does his thing in this last episode. All the characters in this final episode are doing their thing. You hope to see them again next season. Interesting to see that a lot of these characters don't know that Manfredi got arrested. Bodhi was awesome. Stallone holding it down. Really good acting in this season. Didn't look slow. So I hope in this next upcoming season that they could use Stallone and use him while he still has the energy to put out a good performance like this. Tyson, awesome character, good development. I thought his acting, Jay Will's acting in this season was great. A lot of favorite moments with his character. So shout out to his character giving me a lot of favorite moments. Armand, another character in the season where you're just like, bruh, what else could this dude do wrong or hopefully do right? Played by Max Casilla. Good job for your acting on Armand. Well done. Thought it was awesome. Vince in this episode here and there is getting that introduction of him being the boss now. Another episode where funny lines, especially with Vince. Vince is introducing himself to Manfredi as the main boss now, and funny interaction, good acting in that moment. And a lot of these actors are getting comfortable and becoming more stronger. Hopefully they can hold up that strong acting for the next season and they don't lose that momentum, because a lot of these actors did a lot better than last season, especially with Vince's character. I thought his character grew a little bit more. Margaret in here, she did a good job with her lines and what she was presented with. She's an OG actress as well that barely figuring out that she's been in a lot of movies as well, and it makes sense. She's doing a phenomenal job with her acting as being the owner of that ranch, and her flirty and likable and cute heartfelt side for Manfredi is showing a lot. Well presented, and I really like the lines for her whenever she has those moments. Everyone in this season did what they had to do for what they got. The whole story in general, I can't really pick out a favorite moment. There's a lot of favorite moments because there's good one-on-one acting, but there's also good out of nowhere creative moments where I'm very happy that they came up with that. There's so many moments in this season that I'm just like very happy that they came up with it. Like the new funny characters in Manfredi's neighborhood, he was funny. Seeing Paul come back once again, I mean, as a viewer, if you guys watching this whole Tulsa King, put in the comments what your favorite moment was from this season. Season did fly by very fast. The only thing I would add, especially to this last episode, is have a better music score, have a better soundtrack. Couple songs that were kind of choosy and questionable where I'm like, oh, I didn't really like that vibe. Everything else is awesome. The action is there. Stallone's doing great. The whole season has been memorable, and the fact that we can see from the first season where this Manfredi character is at now, very insane and very cool to feel like we've been watching this dude do his thing for years. Shout out to the writing in this last episode. Shout out to the directing. It was awesome. The music was, like I said, the only questionable thing. Can't believe they left us with another cliffhanger where we have to wait another year for this ride to start again. It was worth it. Another season, another cliffhanger. Probably give this season overall out of 10. I'll probably give this whole second season probably a good 9 out of 10. The first season I gave a straight 10 out of 10. Everything was just fresh and brand new. This season ended with another cliffhanger, but there's a lot of small details where we have to consider on why this cliffhanger is different from the last one. The fact that it's only 35 minutes for the last episode, that's insane. I can't believe this that short. That would be something else I would want to change for next season. At least make it at least the bare minimum 40 minutes long. long. I highly recommend starting from the first season and seeing it episode to episode. A lot of interesting characters. The crime, the drama, the gangster life is all in there. You guys are gonna have a great time, especially with Stallone. Another role where he took over again. Third season, let's go. Please come through and let's get it. Please don't take a year long. My goodness. After my watching the 10th episode, season 2 of Tulsa King, Reconstruction out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this episode a 10 out of 10. So that's my review for the 10th episode of Tulsa King, season 2. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.